Different from a psychotherapist, with an interior designer, you have the perfect chaise lounge, and you don't have to pay for it by the hour. Right?
Absolutely.
And an interior designer and a psychotherapist are both about interior space.
Yeah.
And how your interior mental state is reflected or destroyed by what's around you.
Absolutely.
If there's too much mess around you and your house is, you're already chaotic people, and your brain is already chaotic and your life is very chaotic, then you're going to need something stable that will be calming and soothing at the end of the day rather than more chaos.
Yeah, because now the big thing is minimalist, simplicity. You come in and you see hardly anything, any furniture. You know, that's the big popular thing now. And I have to agree to some extent. You know, I feel it's a bit extreme, but I like the fact that, you know, sometimes in a corner you don't see anything. Or on a wall you might just see one painting instead of 4 or 5. You know?
That's true. This is all about editing.
Yeah, and in the space
And
in between.
evaluating what is important and what is not important.
That's right.
What resonates with you and your personality.
Yeah.
And does it have good memories or bad memories? And are you doing it for yourself, or are you having an echo of your parents saying, be this way?
Yeah. Or are you doing it to show off?
Status.
Oh,
status.
You know, how many silver trays do you need? That's something that echoes from my parents.
See, isn't that interesting? Because when I got married, my wife's family was very much the pragmatic. And I was from the silver tray background. Okay? I still have one of my silver trays from my mom.
Yeah, but you have one.
One. No, I have about 4. But
you have 2 houses.
But I use them. You
have 2 houses.
Yeah, and I spread them around. But it's so funny because what did we get for a wedding from her family? A Cuisinart, which at the time was horrifying money and very esoteric, and it's still with us. Okay?
That's great.
So it was quality, and we have used it, and we've had great meals because of the Cuisinart. I was always sort of expecting the silver tray.
But
you know?
That's the pragmatic part.
That's the we both are complementary, and that makes a difference there. But the editing and removing things that are extraneous, dead flowers, plants that are they're struggling and they're never going to make it. So don't have them because it's bad feng shui.
Compost.
Compost is the answer. It is the answer. Yeah. So when somebody says to me, what about these flowers? I'm saying, well, I'd rather have them alive rather than petrified or covered with dust. Petrified flowers, you know, or
waxed.
Or waxed or whatever.
Waxed fruit.
Yes, please no. I actually had my students in the past for a tour of our apartment in downtown Montreal, and I remember we had a bowl of fruit. All right? And color theory, it's a deep cobalt blue, which anybody who knows me is one of my favorite colors. And what was in there but oranges and lemons? Wow. So it was really a pop of the complementary orange and blue combination, but it looked so smart and decorative. I actually had one of the students say, Aurel, are those real fruit? And I said, God, yes, I wouldn't have any plastic in my house. But it was a thing because they looked so smashing. It was such a great color pow.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of a white bowl, the purple blue bowl made the orange and blue. Well, you know why that is. Color theory always says, do you think those people in the grocery stores got a special deal on purple tissue paper? No. But look how purple makes the yellow and the orange of the fruit show.
That's right.
That's part of visual presentation. So we can use that theory in our houses sometimes when we think about how to make things look intelligent and comfortable and be a reflection of your personality.
Yeah, that's right.
If you have a meditation piece or a Buddha that you look at and you look at that Buddha, we have one, it always makes me feel calm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's important. As a matter of fact, I have a little tiny Buddha that probably fits in the palm of my hand, and a big one that I have to ask somebody to help me move.
Carry. but they're a meditation symbol for people who are aware of this.
Absolutely.
Other people would have a picture of a saint, a picture of a holy person that they have in their background that makes them feel good and spiritual. And it's a bit of a mantra or a bit of a meditation. When you see it, you say hello and you feel calm and soothing.
That's
So
right.
that's not a bad thing to have around, in terms of a meditation symbol, or just the yang yin,
That's right.
or symbol of the I Ching or something
That's
like
right.
that could be interesting around.
Whatever resonates with you, basically, as
Mm-hmm.
your experience and perhaps your travels have been inspired.
Well, there's also that tricky word beside editing of consistency. And I can tell you, I've had it happen where my clients go away to a holiday and they come back with a giant painting, and it is wild and bright.
Like from Haiti, or
Well, it could be for Haiti. Now, some of Haiti's naif work is gorgeous.
oh, I love it.
But sometimes it can be the equivalent of a matador on black velvet. All right? And it's like,
How do you fit this in?
How do we fit
with the
this
pastels?
in? We're going to have to repaint the room. For starters, we're going to have to repaint the room. It's true. I was just talking, actually, about one of my clients who has two beautiful early 50s Haida prints with red and black and white. And I said, for your house, and they're scared of color, you have to paint the airlock, just the little small 4-foot by 5-foot vestibule, the same red as in your painting. Because they're beautiful, welcoming prints, valuable, but they have good memories when they see them. This couple, I say, why do you have these propped up on the little molding in the vestibule? Well, we haven't gotten around to hanging them. How long have they been there? I think about 12, 13 years.
No kidding.
Yes. So I said, let's hang them up and use the larger one here and the smaller one over where we have the bench. And we're going to match that red, and we're going to paint the rest of the vestibule red. Well, it's awfully dramatic. I said, yes.
Big commitment.
But yeah, big commitment, or a 4-foot by 5-foot rim. Come on, let's have a little daring. But it is going to be beautiful when it's done. And new paint, and I don't want to give any more plugs to Benjamin Moore, but
Go ahead. I love them too.
but it covers well. I had a project in Montreal with Formula One race car simulation, which is really, really wild and alien from a lot of my clients. But I picked a color called $1 Million Red, and I said, don't get anybody to copy this paint formulation. Use the Aura paint because it's so opaque it covers. Guess what? They were muttering about the paint because it took 6 coats to do the red properly. This is a true story. But the results are great. The color matches, but the quality of the paint's not the same. We all know that when we're working with watercolors or other paints around in terms of the quality of the paint. Same thing as the quality for a good yoga mat versus one that is a little bit soggy and not well made.
Deteriorates in heat. Let me just remind our listeners, Aurélien, that they're listening to CIDI 99.1 FM. The alternatives, you have choices. Our guest today is Aurélien Guillory. We're talking about decorating your home to have a nice, relaxing space, to suit your mood, to have a sanctuary in some parts of your house or condo that you can escape to. And we were just talking about hanging up a painting that came out from, a trip that you took 13 years ago, and it's been leaning up against the moldings because you haven't quite figured out how to hang it, but you've sort of leaned it there, you were saying. And it brought up an idea that there's a lot of unfinished business in our home.
Very much so.
What is
I'll
that?
get
What is
around
that?
to it.
Yeah, because there's
get
the whole
around to
thing. Yeah, exactly. There's a whole thing about feng shui and creating the house so energetically it's balanced and harmony. But talk to me about when you have a lot of unfinished projects or things that are cluttering up the home. What is that?
Well, this is part of editing, and it's part of fear of change. And it's part of worried about how people will perceive me. That's that whole business of facade and image. Let's try to be more genuine to each other and be a consistent person inside the house as well as outside the house. But I think there's a question of fear of, well, actually not fear, but not so sure about who you are.